We'll just start a little bit sideways. Start nice and light. And just start to open the movement out a little bit more. Okay, working with a rotation, and just starting nice and small. Keep the arms nice and loose. And then just start to increase the movement. Okay, good. And then just working with a wave through the spine. So, imagine it's kind of running all the way from the ground, through the knees into the hips, all the way through the spine, and out the top of the head, and then back down. Okay, good. Just stretching up, nice deep breath in through the nose. You create some length through the body, and then keeping the extension, bending the knees, breathing out as you go down. All the way through. And nice and slowly curving up the spine as you come up. And then again, stretching up. And down. And the last one. Okay. In this case, come a little bit wider, toes pointed a little bit angled, a little bit out. You can just drop the body down, bending the knees, in the back straight, length up. Use the hands to the front here. And what you're going to do from here is straighten the knees and then stretch the hands forward. So you're going to do this and then this, stretching the hands forward. So stretch it, push the hips back and stretch the hands forward. Yeah. And then from here, release the hands towards the ground, keeping the legs extended, hands in front. Just stretch through the back a little bit. And then bending the knees, coming back up, just to there. As well. So in this position, just sink the body down. And then just press the hips down into the heels. And then straighten the knees, stretch the hands forward. And then towards the ground, keeping the legs extended. And then release the knees. And come back up to standing. Down. Stretch forward. And to the ground. And good. For the side, so stretch right up again, creating length through the whole body. And then try and keep it as you fold the body over to the side. And the other side. And again. Now in this case, if you want, using the opposite hand, or the other hand, bring it up towards the other hand. We'll just increase the stretch. Release it. And the other side. Okay, good. We'll just start a little bit with the torso, so keeping the hips nice and stable. Just working with circles through the torso. Good. So really just trying to create mobility in the whole torso area. And using both directions. Yes. Good. And then just bring the shoulders into it. So really full range of motion. Up, down, and front and back. Good. And then forwards. Good. I'm just going to alternate backwards. Good. Okay, working with big circles to the back. Opening the chest out. As if the arms kind of brush against the ears as you go back. A nice big motion. And that's it. Good. Good, good. That's it. Good. And then you're going to go across to the front. So side to side. Stretching up. Again, big motion as I can. Now it's as if the arms kind of brush against the face as they come across the front. So, okay, good. Just go to the hips. Nice big circles. And the other way. Okay, just sitting down to the knees. Here with the hands on the knees, and just start to very loosely just rotate side to side. Yeah. And then just start to increase the movement, and then just hold one side, straightening the arm and look over the opposite shoulder and just hold it. And release it and then change sides. And again, release. And again. Good. Okay, again, nice and loose, just working the legs side to side. Keep the feet really firm, planted in the ground. Good, and just hold one side, straightening the leg. That's it, the other side. Good. And now using the hands as a counterbalance to the front. And what you want to do now is pull the hips back. So I'm going to pull the hips beyond the back, beyond the knee. Pull back there. That's it. And then the other side. As if you're pulling the hips and the hands away from each other. That's it. Good. Okay, coming all the way down. Bringing the toes up. And shake. Good. Okay, bringing the legs straight. Extend it through the knees. Hands just on the same line as the feet. Okay, what you do now is just using the hands as a support. You can hinge from the hips, just raise up, and then sink back down to the ground. Raise up, without really using the hands to push off the ground. Just use them as a kind of support. So all the movement's really coming from the hinging of the hips. Good. Okay, and the last one, just hold it down. And if you can, bring the hands to either foot. Just try and relax the lower back. The head pulls towards the ground. Good. And nice and slow, just bring the feet towards each other, towards the body. Okay, just work the feet parallel. Try and keep the back heel just pressing into the ground. Stretch forward the body a little bit. And then change sides. Good. Changing sides again. What we can do now is bring the back heel off the ground and just bring the knee towards the ground. Yeah, and then raise it back up. So you're going from the knee to the ground and then raising up. We'll just do a few. Here and up. Sink towards the ground and up. Just one more this side. Straight. And then change sides. Bring the heel up. Sink the knee towards the ground and then straighten the leg. Change sides one more time. Bring the knee now fully to the ground, back foot down. And just for the hips, really stretching forwards. Use the hands as a support if you need it. Trying to open the front hip. Good. And then changing sides. Good. Okay, push both legs back. Stretch through the hands. Okay, and just start to work the heels, so pressing the heels into the ground. One at a time. Okay, good. And then just bringing the knees up towards the elbows, nice and slow. Just a few more. So, good. Okay, press the feet back into the ground and just stretch a few seconds. Yeah. Good. And just release the heel. Okay, just working with the knees, just loosen them up. Circles. And the other direction. Good. And just work the feet to pulling the body up and then sinking down. Pull the toes up and sink the weight into the heel. And again, rising up onto the toes. And then sinking down into the heels. Good. And then what you're going to do is press the big toe into the ground. Keep the other toes up. And then just hold it. And then pull the big toe up and then press all the other toes into the ground. Into that. You're going to pull the big toe up now. So release it. Press the weight into one leg. And just work the ankle in circles. That's both ways. Just shaking the leg out. You're just going to point the toes forward. You're going to point the ball of the foot towards the ground. And then lastly, the heel. Press the heel down. Yeah, and then press the heel into the ground. Stretch forward and just touch the toe. Touch the toes with the hand. And release it. Good. And we go to the other side. Just rolling the ankle. And the other way. And keeping the weight in the leg, off the ground, working in circles. Good. And you're going to point the toe, point the ball of the foot, and then press the heel in towards the ground. Stretch the body down, just reach for the toes, and pulling the toes up. Good. We'll just do a little bit for the shoulders, so just Stretching the hand across the body. To the front. And release to the other side. Good. Taking the wrist, stretching across the back. And change. Okay, taking the fingers together, stretch up through the chest. And release it, and then one more time. That's good. Okay, clasping the fingers to the front, keep the palms connected, and just start working the wrists, rolling in circles. And then just separate the palms and just start to work the fingers and also the thumbs as well. Just working. Just stretch out, extend them nice and fast. And about 50. Nice and fast, really stretching them out, as if you're kind of flicking water off the hands. Good, and then making fists. And in this case, really focusing on the back two fingers, so the little finger, the ring finger. And good, so just shake the hands and the feet, like this. The wrists, just like this. Circling the arms. You feel like the big heavy rope. Good. And just go to the whole body. And just sinking the weight into the body. Okay. We'll take a Bokken. Okay. So just come straight into the first support. So nice big lift. Go back here. Okay, so just try this as an exercise. One of the problems with saburi is it becomes kind of repetitive, so there's a tendency to start to get into this kind of practice. And I don't really finish the cut each time, so I just start to kind of bounce kind of through it. So in this case, just starting the kamae, we're going to just add another step to it. Come to the back, engage for the cut, really finish the cut, and then come back into the kamae. So just one stop between. I'm just going to come back to here, find the back, engage through the cut, and then just release back, find the kamae here. Center the body, and then again. Just think about doing one cut at a time. One. And then you reset. One. Reset. One. Reset. Yeah, let's try this. Okay, good. And just take the focus to really engage in the hips. So in this case, the hips are in a kind of neutral position. Just relax forward. I'm going to bring the hips so that they're square on, so that they're really square on. The foot's right back. And then from here, what I'm going to do is really engage the front hip. I'm really engaging into the hip here, and then I'm going to release the hip here. So it's really a work for the hips, connecting into the center, but there's really a sense of engaging the hip here. What I don't want to happen in this case is the hips don't really do anything. So there's no real movement in the hips. They're just kind of moving through space, but the hips themselves are not really flexing. So what I want to do is like this. Yeah, so I want to create mobility in the hips, but I also want to create a sense of the power being generated right into the hip. Right into the hip. That's good. Good, good, good. Nice. Good. And we go to Zengo and just have the same focus. So really think of coming in from this position and engage the hip. I release it and then engage the hip to the other side. Just take all the focus into the hip work. And all the time trying to really engage the hip into the cut. That's it. Okay, good. And again, we'll just do one extra, or one, basically we're going to make a stop in this movement. And this is really just to work on the connection. Again, to engage the hip from here, you're going to find this position and just find the top of the head from here. Pause a little bit, and then I want to really establish this leg's in the ground. I'm going to sink the weight down into it, and then I'm going to press this hip forward this way into the cut. And then I'm going to release it, release from this leg. Here, find the ground, and then find the cut here. It's just to separate the movement out a little bit. Just so you can really focus on the structure and where the weight's pressing down. You feel nice and grounded as you do the cut. Find the head and then sink forward. Nice. Nice, nice. Good. Okay, good. We're coming to number 2. So starting in Kamae here, and really again trying to engage the hips in the movement. So you're gonna just back, stepping, bringing the back leg through, finding the top of the head, and then reach the back as you come through. Engage the hips forward. So really now working on a backwards forward movement. So pushing the hips back, and then pushing the hips forward. This way. Okay, good. So one point in this one is this feel, what I want to really avoid is a sense of doing this with the body and the head. So kind of coming into a kind of crunching position. Basically the neck, everything's kind of crunched up. So you can think about 2 things. You can think about the space really opening, lengthening through the back here. I want to really keep this space. So just imagine the space above the head. Yeah, I want to really open this space up here. So there's really a sense of space and freedom, mainly freedom in the back, especially in the shoulders and the neck. And as soon as I go to these kind of movements, this is where I'm starting to close down. So keep a really sense of extension as you come up. So it's extension through the spine. There's lots of space in the movement here. And then from here, find the back, find the cut. And just think about opening this space up to the top of the head. Right above the crown here, and then always with a sense of length and extension in the spine.
That's it. Great.
Okay, good. And then we're just going to work this. We're in two directions, so in two different ways. The first way is find the same move, come through, find the back, and then from here, just going to rotate to your left side and come up into the kamae, straight into the kamae here at the top, and the back cut down, engage the hip. So you're going to now rotate right to the back. Find the kamae. Find the kamae. Find the kamae. Yeah. Okay, next.
That's it.
Okay, good. And think in this case, this movement, think in terms of a spiral. So again, it's going to come to the ground and it's going to kind of spiral through this way. So if you like how we do Morotodori, this sense of spiraling through, the hips are basically entering in and I'm spiraling in with the hand. What I want to avoid in this case is doing something like this. I'm basically counterbalancing the hips and the hands like this. So in this case, really think of spiraling underneath the weapon here, rather than being in this kind of position where I'm basically out of the center. Hands are forward. So think about really spiraling, coiling underneath the movement this way. So the sword gets lifted through the center. This. And then find the curve. Spiraling, extension here. Find the curve. So just think of working with spirals, especially in this rotation.
So Michael, the body work here is slightly different to Zengo Giri, which is, this has a backwards component, as you said.
It's more engaged with the hips. So now I'm kind of mobilizing the hips a bit more. If you think also that the difference between the first suburi and the second suburi is really this kind of mobilizing the hips forward and backward, and then the first suburi really just kind of straight down, this kind of up down, boom boom. Whereas in number two, you've got this kind of mobilizing the hips. Yeah, exactly. Nice. Okay, good. So just one, I'm gonna make just make a, there's really a distinction between kind of raising and lifting of the sword. So just be careful in this case that I don't lift the sword with the arms, which I'm basically doing this. And if I do it with something heavy, if I do the sword with something heavy, basically the back just goes into a kind of spasm. So the back just does this, and then I'm basically being pulled out all the time. So this and this happen. But really think again, the body and I'm basically raising the sword from below. So if I do this with a heavy object, I can raise it into the structure and then cut down with it. The moment I think of lifting the sword with the arms, when I start to go into these kind of movements. So think about raising the sword with the body. So you're going to bring the center into the sword. Really like we do Morotodori, bring the center in and then find the spiral. The moment I do this, I can't really do it. So think about the center coming in and then finding the spiral this way. So it's the same. And then this way. So just think about raising the sword with the whole body from the ground this way. And then this becomes a kind of kokyu exercise rather than just a kind of sword cutting movement. It's got more applications. That's it. Yeah, good. Okay, good. There we go. Oh, I can do. Oh, okie dokie, good. Good. Okay, so we're going to number 3. I've got to do with this one because I've got a really pretty low ceiling here. So in this case, you're going to do 3 moves, sinking back, stretch up right to the sky. Okay, you're going to really breathe in through the nose, nice deep breath as you do this. Sink the weight down, and now engage the hips. So it's as if the hips are pulling the sword down. Engage the hips down, sink and bring the sword to the back hip, sink the weight down, and then from here, releasing the breath, find the top of the head, and find the cut forward this way. So number 3, nice and slow. Stretch right up. Sink down, really engaging the hips. Find the back hip with the sword, and then release it. And find the cut, release the breath. This is really kind of breathing exercise, as well as kind of sword hip work. Sink the hips, compress everything down. Okay. And just watch this very first movement. There's something else that happens in this move. So if I just go into lifting the sword, again, this kind of thing happens. I raise the sword from the periphery. So think of this first movement, even though it's a movement back, think of bringing the sword into the center. So there's a sense of softening into the center. Now from here, raise the sword from the ground. So again, it's connecting the center into the sword. Centers in, and then stretch up. Kind of break this movement down a little bit. Bring the sword into the center. Stretch right up. And now it's as if the breath raises the sword. So as the breath raises up. Now from here, really compress the body down. Go into a very kind of tight spiral, like a coiled spring. And then from here, release it. Find the head. Find the cut. Okay. So there's really different kinds of feelings in this movement. A sense of softening, lengthening, and compressing down, and then springing forward. Yeah. That's it. Okay, good. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, good. Okay, good. So again, we'll do this in two directions. In this case, you start with the first move. So this is the same. Coming to here, cutting through here. Now what you can do from here is bring the left back leg in. You're going to roll in. I'll do it from this way. You're going to roll in the body here. Again, bring the sword into the center. Turn it into the other direction and then stretch up, come into this move. Here. Here. Find the curve. So you're going to bring the whole body in. Stretch up. Down. Cut. Bring the body in. Stretch. Down. So this is kind of lengthening this very first movement of kind of softening the body in and bringing the sword into the center. So let's play a little bit with this rotation. Nice big movement.
Good. Very nice, very nice, very nice.
Nice. Good. Okay, we're coming to number 4. So just cutting. In this case, just do this on the spot. So you're just going to find the back, cut the body in, and then you're going to raise, bring the feet together, sink the hips down, and find the cut on the left. So it goes like this, bring to the feet together, and then cutting down. This time. Just changing the side. And again, really focusing on engaging the hips, so changing the hips, left and right. And then adapting the posture on the right side and the left side to fit the hip work. Changing the grip. So.
Oh, good.
Good. And again, make the hips the driver of this movement. So this is very easy to do like this with the arms. So, and if you do a lot of these, this gets very tiring very, very quickly. So have the sense that the center raises the sword again, and then it's like the center drags the sword down. So it's really again trying to find the most efficient way to do this, which means basically working the center, allowing the center to do all the heavy work. The back of the body and the lower body. The arms are quite light. Look for the easiest way you can do the movement, so with the minimum amount of effort, while still keeping a strong form. So there's still a sense of cutting through, but try and really make it as effortless as you can.
Nice, nice, nice. Very good.
Good, and then working with number 5. So now you're going to allow the sword to go circularly. So around the top and this way. So in this case, don't find the back, just use the right hand. It's just going to come above that, just in front of the head, and then cutting down, engaging the hip. So this, and just work this as one movement. So in, this. So now really working with a sense of coiling through the hip, coil through the hip, and find the sword. Again, really trying to connect the sword into the center. So think core into the periphery, core, periphery, core, periphery. That's it. That's it.
Good. Nice. Good.
Okay, good. So now, because we're not finding the back, there's a tendency to again to go into these kind of crunching movements. So there's a tendency for the movement to happen all in the front. But again, think about length through the spine, length through the top of the body, and creating space above here. So there's always a sense of, imagine there's just always a sense of space above the head. The moment I start to all the time, a sense of length through the spine. Well, you're also going to engage the hips at the same time. Just there. That's it.
Nice, 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 nice.
Nice.
Good.
Okay, good. So we just work with number 7. We'll start with really simple. We're just going to do a yokomenski. So in this case, start with the left side forward, left legs forward. You're going to cut yokomen on the right side, and then thrust through with the number 7 on the left side, and then just come back. So each time, just start in the left side. You find the center, and then press the center in, and then find the ski. This way. Nice, basic. Just 2 movements. 1, 2. You can know all the focus in the center and the hips. Engaging the hip through a spiral. So.
Okay, good, good, good. Nice. Very nice.
We'll just add one more movement just to kind of bring it together. So you start in the left side again, find the yokomen, find the ski, and then from this position, left side, you're going to slice over to the right side. So you're going to coil to the back, slice through here, and then you just continue, cut on the right side with a step, left side with the ski, and then from here, slicing over to the right, slice through, cut down, thrust, slice to the back, cut, thrust, slice, cut, thrust. This way.
Got it, got it. Yeah. Okay. Mhm.
Okay, good. So and again, it's trying to really connect the hip work to what the sword's doing, or what my intention is with the sword. So in this case, if my hip just connects in a kind of block with the sword, I just kind of pull the sword around. So in a sense, it just gets moved through the space. But really think about engaging the hips into this movement, and you're going to really coil through and then engage the hip. So there's really, the hips are really involved in the movement. This is really exaggerated, but there's really a sense of the hips this way. Hips this way. Think about the move we do in the 31 Joe Kata. So you come back and you come to this position here, and then you're coming up into this position. But in this case, just really try and move the hips in the movement.
Michael, would you be able to do that facing the camera? I just want to see when you slice and you finish the position of the bokken with your body.
From this way. This way. It's going to kind of slice out this way. This is it.
So is the bokken right in front of you, or is it to your side? I can't really tell.
This side, this way, and then from here, what I'm going to do is connect it back into this way. There's a way you can do it where kind of like this way. You can also do this. This isn't wrong, but in this case, just opening the hips out a little bit more. There, and then engaging it through this.
Ah, okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Got it. There we go. Good. Nice, nice, nice. No, okay, good.
Okay, in the last minute, just play with this a little bit more flexibly. So you've got the curve, the thrust, and the slice. Curve, thrust, slice. Make this really slow, but really feel the hips, again, constantly engaging. 1, 2. And the best way to do this flexibly is after this is from the ski. So pause at the ski, and then you've got the slice, yokomen ski. Pause, slice, yokomen ski. Just play with it this way. This movement all kind of gets included. So. Whoosh.
Very nice. Great. Bam. Good.
Great. Okay, we'll stop there. Nice. はい。どうも、ありがとうございます。
どうも
どうも
ありがとうございました。